2023. Tonight, pull out pacifier number 4. Atheists rely on pacifiers to keep them content and keep them from crying. We'll have to pull them out, guys. There's nothing in them. Got visit tonight. John from Canada. You say you're an experimental mechanic from mechanical for the Chrysler. So are they going to get a car that runs forever or something? Trying. Okay. Well, great. Good to have you here. How'd you hear about us? Watching the videos. Okay. And Billy, the atheist, took the tour today. How much footage did we get? We toured the Science Center. We got probably an hour's worth of footage. We'll be putting that up on our site. Thank you, Billy, for coming. And we'll get you converted if you keep watching. Let's see. Help us stay open for free. You can join our 777 club. We call that R and Ra. Oh, by the way, John brought me proof for evolution. I couldn't believe it. I said, you are right. I can't argue with that. Proof for evolution. Mr. Nelson. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yep. Mr. Nelson says he said he wanted 666 club. He wanted 666 people to give him $1 a day so he could have his atheist club or whatever it is. I said, well, we got 35 people here on our staff. I don't know what he's got, but we need 777 club, 707 people to do that. If you want to help, give $1 a day, keep us open. CSE, Creation, Science, Evangelism. We don't charge anything here. Get my video series, Creation Seminar Series, 18 hours long. Get my series on what's about to happen, the future, according to the Bible. We are in it, folks. It's coming like a freight train. And subscribe to our channel. Come visit our dinosaur adventure land straight north of Lenox, Alabama, right off 65. Let's see. Pacifiers do not provide any nourishment for the baby. They only provide a false sense of security. Evolutionists have many empty pacifiers they suck on, hoping to find nourishment. All are empty. Sorry, guys. Suck harder. Maybe it'll start working. Right. New York Times, Stephen Weinberg. Anything scientists can do to weaken the hold of evolution, of religion, should be done. Well, Stephen, evolution's a religion. If you're really a scientist and you deal with science, things you can see, study, observe, test, demonstrate, evolution doesn't fit that. Okay. One by one, we're going to pull out the pacifiers you atheists suck on for your religion. Sit back and listen while them scream. They can't have their passy. I know. It's pull to sound alarm. I like that one. Okay. Pull to sound alarm. The mute button, put it in. Yeah, it's a mute button for some kids. Okay. I like that one. Strap it in there where it can't. What am I getting? Does that beard starting to grow there? Never mind. Okay. By far the biggest to suck on is time. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. This one gives them a false sense of security. Oh, given enough time, it could happen. I asked Bill today, and I ask this all the time, how can an animal change to something else? We don't see it happen in our lifetime. Well, you have to wait millions of years or billions of years. Oh, so time. That's one pacifier. We talked about that a couple. Sorry. This one alone gives them the most comfort, and they scream the loudest when you pull it out. Time. I can't have millions of years. No, you can't. You ask them, how on earth did a single-celled creature turn to whales, humans, birds, fish, trees? They'll say, given enough time. That's the pacifier. They make these silly trees of life in science at all. And they say, oh, yeah, they're related to the, arthropods, yeah, and the worms and the starfish. Yeah. How do you know that? Well, 700 million years ago. Stop right there. This is pure baloney. Get my video number 1 in the seminar series about the age of the Earth. The Earth cannot be millions of years old. Okay, let's see, right here. 700 million years ago. Well, there it is. They change over time. It's their baby. That's their pacifier right there. They make these silly trees of life, which are nonsense. They're not science at all. If a protozoa turns to a biology teacher quick, I'll call that a fairy tale. But if the protozoa turns to the biology teacher slowly, now it's modern science. Guys, it's a religion, okay? They say over millions of years, there's zero, none, nada, no evidence whatsoever for any animal ever changing to something else. It's a religion. You believe humans and ferns are related. The second biggest pacifier they suck on for their religion is mutations. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. They're essential to their religion, and they give them a great but false sense of security, dreaming about what mutations can do. Just imagine a mutation can happen. Well, now slow down. All the mutations we've seen have been harmful or fatal or useless. If you did have a good one, Wouldn't you have to have two same of the opposite sex in the same place in the world? It's a big planet, you know. They got to find each other and be interested. And then that new mutation has to take over the population because all the rest of them have to die. It's imagination. It's religion. Mutations is a pacifier. Mutations are the backbone of their religion, and it makes them scream loudly. Pull this one out. We did that a couple weeks ago. Mutations. Mutations are the original source of variation in populations, as shown by the many varieties of roses. I agree, there's a variety of roses, and they have the common ancestor, a rose. Mutations do not provide any evidence for evolution. The pacifier is fossils. We talked about that last week. Sorry, baby, you can't have the passy to help you believe in evolution. All they prove is really something died. Fossils are not proof for evolution, but they keep it in there. Fossils prove evolution. Fossils, evidence for evolution from fossils, really? Okay. Transitional fossils, there are none, but even if there were, you could just be finding something that's gone. You don't know it's transitioning to anything. Nothing today is transitioning to anything else. So why is a bone supposed to be doing it? They don't get it. Let's see, Dr. Dan teaches his students there are 5 mechanisms of evolution. Here they are. One of them is selection. We'll talk about that tonight. Pacifier number 4, natural selection. They think a selection process will create new traits. This is silly. Selecting, brother, when you work up at Chrysler, do they, when vehicles or something comes down the line, do they select ones that have mistakes and take them out and go fix them? Yeah. Does that ever turn the car to an airplane? Not yet, man. Darwin and natural selection. Ooh, natural selection. Observed biology textbook over here. Evolution. A scientific theory that states that living species are descendants of ancestral species. I would have that were different. I disagree with that. That's not science, okay? What causes evolution? Natural selection is one of the causes, really. What factors cause evolution? Oh, here we go. Natural, a strong force in evolution. This is what the textbooks teach. Evolution is based on 2 assumptions. Mutations make something new and better. That's never been seen. Natural selection, survive and take over the population. Evolution is a religion of death, not life. Textbook, natural selection, part of evolution. Okay, evolution and how natural selection causes evolution, really. Natural selection and evidence of Darwin gained insight by breeding pigeons, artificial selection. Breeders determine which individuals teach for breeding based on the natural variation. They're able to produce a wide range of plants and animals that ancestors. I agree. They've never gotten anything but a pigeon. They've been trying for years with artificial selection to select dogs to do certain things, get a bit smaller, be dumber. My wife has the dumbest dog. She got the record. But it's still a dog, barely. Evidence of natural selection is everywhere. Guys, it's still a bird, beak on a bird. Evidence of natural selection, Darwin's finches, really. All he found is 14 kinds of finches that might have had a common ancestor called a finch. Not evidence for evidence. Creationists have no argument with natural selection. We thought of it first. It's a conservative process that removes defective organisms to the species strong. That's all it does. It's like you guys on your assembly line at Chrysler. Vehicles come down. Oh, this one doesn't pass. Take it to the back. Fix it or junk it. Right? Yep. Selection. It doesn't create anything. Natural selection may have a stabilizing effect. It does not promote speciation. It's not a creative force, as many people have said. Doesn't work. It selects. It doesn't create anything, guys. Knock it off. Natural selection can have biological properties that already exist. It cannot create properties in order to meet adaptational needs. Natural selection does not create. Evolution in action. Finches with larger and stronger beaks were better able to open the tough pods than the finches with smaller, weak beaks. Well, it's true. Evolution by natural selection had occurred. No, that's pure baloney, guys. Stop lying. It's not natural evolution at all. They have directional selection, stabilizing selection, disruptive selection. Guys, it's not thing. It's selecting. Just Google natural selection. A whole bunch of sites in there about it. It's a big thing on the internet. Natural selection. Well, let's see. They say first a variation happens. Some babies are born and they're yellow. Some are brown. Oh. They have babies that turn out either yellow or brown. Well, the birds can see the yellow one's better, so they eat. Pretty soon the population is mostly brown. Okay? They didn't create anything. It was already brown moths or butterflies. Didn't create nothing. Over long, natural selection can lead to evolution. This is propaganda. This is a lie. It doesn't lead to anything. It stabilizes the species. See, a factory that produces cars uses selection. If they caught every mistake coming down the assembly line, how long would it take that process to turn the car to an airplane? It's not going to happen. At General Motors, truck and coach plant there in Pontiac, not far from you live. I worked in Plant 6. We built the C60, C70 series trucks. They use them for dump trucks and garbage trucks. And we were supposed to do inspectors inspecting them coming down the line. They're supposed to catch every mistake. They don't, by the way. It wouldn't change it. It's still a truck. Natural selection. Survival and reproduction of the organisms that are genetically best adapted to the environment. Wow, the bird can see the green ones, so he eats them. Yeah, it's still a beetle. Didn't change anything. Overproduction. Each species makes more offspring than will survive. And some don't blend in with the environment, and they will be selected against. I agree. But it's not creating anything. The famous one they used is the peppered moth experiment. Back in the 1950s, they looked at the moths and said, wow, on the light-colored trees, 95% of them are light, only 5% are. Then they started burning coal in the factories, and the trees turned dark. So they counted them again, according to the story, and said, now it's only 5% light, 5% black. They said, wow, evolution. No, it's still a moth, okay? They didn't change anything. 95%, 5%. Let's see, I did that already. It's in here twice. Okay. This evidence has been proven phony many years ago. The Kettlewell experiment. Let's see. It's in all the textbooks, though, as evidence for evolution. Testing natural selection moths. Well, peppered moths and industrial melanism. That's the color that they are. Still used in the Tulsa Zoo. Evidence for evolution. This was introduced as the peppered moth melanism story in 1955 as evidence for evolution by natural selection. Since then, it's appeared in almost every biology textbook as evidence for evolution. Here's the problems. It was select if it worked at all. The moths do not rest on tree trunks. Exactly 2 moths have been seen in more than 40 years. What's 95% of 2? Do some thinking. Kettlewell glued 2 dead moths on a tree trunk to famous photograph. Moths have no tendency to choose matching. The whole Kettlewell experiment, baloney. Okay? Kettlewell's results have not been replicated in later studies. The shift in moth population did occur, but it took well before new lichens grew on polluted trees. The Kettlewell shift in moth population occurred in the U.S., where there was no change in lichens. Well, that's not didn't work. The peppered moth is a great proof of design. God wants to make sure the moth population survive no matter what happens to the environment. That's called planning ahead. Did you know Ford and GM and probably Chrysler put heaters and air conditioners in some of their cars? Don't they? Don't they do opposite things? Heater, heats it and the air conditioner cools it. Why would they put both in there? Because they don't know if it's going to a hot climate or cold climate. God made sure the moth can survive in any given background. It's not proof for evolution. Moth population shifted from mostly white to black as the trees turned black. That's what they say. Moth population was able to adapt to the new environment. This helps prove we came from a rock. This is their logic. The evolution of the peppered moth is an evolutionary instance of directional color change in the moth. No, it's baloney. They're gluing dead moths on the tree to do that. Peppered moth and natural selection. Wow. Widespread in Britain and Ireland, frequently found in whatever that is one of the best known examples of evolution by natural selection. Evolution of the peppered moth. There's children's videos about it to teach brainwash kids into believing this dumb religion of evolution. Is the peppered moth an example of natural selection? Light-colored peppered moths were no longer well camouflaged on the dark trees, so the birds could eat them. Peppered moth. This is all, Google it, peppered moth or natural selection on the internet. Natural selection only selects. It doesn't create anything, guys. It doesn't create anything new. Aaron Key, I debated him one time. Got 6 subscribers though, so that helps. He said that's evidence for evolution. There's a great book, it's somewhere here, Icons of Evolution, about that if you want more. See, part 4, pacifier number 4. Natural selection provides no evidence for a silly evolution religion, but it keeps them quiet for a while. So all it does is select. It doesn't create anything. So guys, you believe in evolution, where's the evidence? Where? Natural selection. It's not going to make evidence for evolution. There is none. Evolution's a dumb religion. All right, any questions or comments here? We're having trouble with our camera focus and all that stuff. And anyway, all right, we'll see you tomorrow for Whack an Atheist. See you tomorrow. Bye.